Okay, welcome all of you in the Presidency Senior Secondary School online classes. Good morning. So, today I will continue our last lecture, that is Unit 1, Solid State. So, in my last lecture, I have discussed about what is solid, next characteristics of solids, and also types of solids. So, solids are those state of matter where volume is definite and shape also definite. Now, there is a condition for a substance to exist in solid state. Actually, in solid state or in any other state, so liquid or gaseous state, two forces are operating and both are opposing forces. One is intermolecular forces and other is thermal energy. So if intermolecular forces is more than thermal energy, then substance exists in solid state. And if intermolecular forces less than thermal energy, then substance exists in liquid or gaseous state. So this is precondition for a substance to exist in solid state. Now there are 5 different characteristics of solid. Number 1, solids are rigid and have definite shape and mass. Second, they have definite volume. Third, the intermolecular distances in solids are short and intermolecular forces are strong. Number 4, the constituent particles, atom, ions and molecules of solids have fixed position. And last one, solids are almost incompressible. So these are 5 different characteristics of solids and I have discussed in my last lecture. And finally, I have discussed about classification of solids or types of solids. So on the basis of arrangement of particles, that is atoms, molecules or ions, solids are classified into 2 types. One is called crystalline solid and other is called amorphous solids. In case of crystalline solids, there is definite geometrical shape, that is long range of order. That is similar arrangement are repeated again and again. So in crystalline solids, there is sharp melting point and there is an important property known as anisotropy, means property same in or property different in different direction. And crystalline solids are also known as true solids. In case of amorphous solids, particles are arranged not in definite geometrical pattern, that is there is a short range of order. So in such solid there is an important property which is known as isotropic property. This means that property is same in all direction. And melting point of amorphous solids are not sharp, there is a range of melting point. And finally, in case of amorphous solids, it is called pseudo-solids. So these are some of the important characteristics of solids. So next we consider difference between crystalline solids and also amorphous solids. First point, in case of crystalline solid, there is long range of order. In case of amorphous solid, short range of order. Second one, in case of crystalline solid, there is definite geometrical shape. In case of amorphous solid, there is no such definite geometrical shape. Next point, in case of crystalline solid, there is an important property which is known as isotropic property, and in case of amorphous solid, there is a property which is called isotropic property, means property same in all direction. And next point is crystalline solid possess definite geometrical shape, definite or sharp melting point. In case of amorphous solid, there is range of melting point. Now, in case of crystalline solid, it is called true solid, and in case of amorphous solid, it is called pseudo solid or supercooled liquid. So these are some of the important point of differences between crystalline solids and amorphous solids. So in my next part, I will discuss about classification of solids on the basis of forces operating between different parts of solids, and also nature of particle present. So next we consider classification of solids on the basis of intermolecular forces and also nature of particles. Now, on the basis of intermolecular forces and also on the basis of nature of particles present, solids are classified into 4 different types. So, what is basis of classification? Nature of intermolecular forces and also nature of particles present. So, there are 4 types of solids. Number 1 is called molecular solids. Number 2 is called covalent solid. Number 3 is called ionic solids. And number 4 is called metallic solids. So these are 4 different types of solids on the basis of nature of particles and also nature of intermolecular forces. Number 1 is called molecular solids. Number 2 is called covalent solids. Number 3 is called ionic solids. And number 4 is called metallic solids. Now, molecular solids again classified into 3 types. Number 1 is called non-polar solids. Number 2 is called polar solids. Number 3 is called hydrogen bonded. Molecular solids. So, molecular solids means solids where particles are molecules and they are held together by means of van der Waals forces. So molecular solids are those solids where particles are molecules. Here particles are molecules and they are held together by van der Waals forces. Now molecular solids are further classified into three types. Number one is called non-polar molecular solids. Number B is called polar molecular solids, and number 3 is called hydrogen bonded molecular solids. So what is molecular solids? Molecular solids are those solids where particles are molecules and they are held together by van der Waals forces. So molecular solids are further classified into three types: non-polar molecular solids, polar molecular solids, and hydrogen bonded molecular solids. So first we consider non-polar molecular solids. Non-polar molecular solids means molecules are either solid helium, solid argon, and solid hydrogen, solid carbon dioxide, iodine, etc. And they are held together by weak dispersion forces or London forces. So here in case of non-polar molecular solids, particles may be atoms, say helium, neon, argon, or molecules such as carbon dioxide, and they are held together by weak dispersion forces or London forces. So here force is either dispersion forces or London forces. So in case of non-polar solids, where particles may be atoms like helium, neon, argon, etc., or molecules like carbon dioxide, hydrogen, etc., and they are held together by dispersion forces or London forces. Second one is called polar solids, where particles are polar molecules, means say HCl, say ammonia, etc., and they are held together by polarity of the molecule. And third one, hydrogen bonded molecular solids, means solids which are molecules are held together by a force known as hydrogen bond, and example of which is ice. So first one is molecular solids, means particles are molecules and they are held together by weak van der Waals forces. Now molecular solids are further classified into three types: non-polar molecular solids, polar molecular solids, and hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Non-polar molecular solids, where particles may be atoms like helium, neon, argon, etc., or molecules like carbon dioxide, hydrogen, etc., held together by dispersion forces or London forces. Second one is polar molecular solids. So these are solids where intermolecular forces is polar bonds, an example of which is solid HCl, solid ammonia, solid sulfur dioxide, etc. And their force is dipole-dipole force. Their force is dipole-dipole force. Then last, hydrogen bonded molecular solids, where molecules are held together by hydrogen bond, example of which is ice. So this is all about molecular solids and types of molecular solids. Next we consider covalent solids. So in case of covalent solids, particles are atoms, here particles are molecules. And in case of covalent solids, particles are atoms and they are held together by strong covalent bond. They are held together by covalent bond. So diamond, graphite, silica, all of them are example of boron carbide, etc. All are example of covalent solids. So in case of covalent solid, similar structure is repeated again and again. So covalent solids are those solids where particles are atoms and they are held together by covalent bond. Example, diamond, graphite, silica, boron carbide, boron nitride, etc. Third one is called ionic solids. So in case of ionic solids, particles are ions, that is cations and anions, and they are held together by strong electrostatic forces of interaction. So here particles are ions, cations and anions, held together by electrostatic forces of attraction. And all sorts, say NaCl, KCl, etc., are example of ionic solids because they contain cation and anion. And last one is called metallic solids. So in case of metallic solids, particles are metallic kernels and they are held together by metallic bond. So in case of metallic solids, particles are metallic kernels and they are held together by metallic bonds. So this is all about 4 different types of solids. So here molecular solid means particles are molecules held together by van der Waals forces. There are 3 types of molecular solids: non-polar molecular solids where particles may be atoms or molecules held together by dispersion forces or London forces. Example, solid helium, solid neon, solid argon, solid carbon dioxide, solid hydrogen, etc. Second one is polar molecular solids. Here particles are polar molecules like HCl, ammonia, sulfur dioxide, etc. and they are held together by dipole-dipole interactions. Dipole-dipole interactions. Third one is called hydrogen bonded molecular solids where hydrogen bond is formed between different molecules. Example is ice. Second one is called covalent solid where particles are atoms held together by covalent bonds. Example, diamond, graphite, silica, silicon carbide, etc. Third one is called ionic solids where particles are ions, that is cations and anions, and held together by electrostatic forces of attraction. Example, salts like sodium chloride, potassium chloride, etc. Last one is called metallic solids where particles are metallic kernels held together by metallic bond. What is metallic kernels? Metallic kernels means species which are formed by losing outer electrons. For example, in case of lithium, since its electronic configuration is helium 2s1, so after losing its outer electron, it becomes Li positive, and attaining configuration of helium. So Li positive is called metallic kernels. So what is metallic kernels? Metallic kernels are those species which are formed after losing outer electrons. So in case of metallic solids, particles are metallic kernels and they are held together by metallic bonds. So this is all about classification of solids on the basis of particles present and also nature of intermolecular forces between them. Next we consider another important point which is called space lattice. Space lattice and unit cells. So next we consider space lattice and unit cells. Space lattice and unit cells. Now what is space lattice? Space lattice means regular arrangement of constituent particles which may be atoms, may be ions, may be molecules in the crystalline solid in three-dimensional structure. So space lattice means regular arrangement of constituent particles in three-dimensional close-packed structure. So if we consider say this one, so it represent space lattice. So this one is space lattice and this spot represent atoms, molecules or ions, that is particles. So entire structure is known as space lattice because there is regular arrangement of constituent particles. Regular arrangement means constituent particles are present at a definite position, that is a definite distance from one another. So this one is called space lattice. So space lattice means a regular arrangement of the constituent particles, that is atoms, molecules or ions of a crystalline solid in three-dimensional space. Now smallest unit or smallest block of space lattice is called unit cell. The smallest repeating unit, so this one is smallest repeating unit of space lattice is known as unit cell, because if we consider unit cell, then this structure so this is our, so this structure is repeated again and again. So this structure is repeated again and again. So this is our unit cell, and if we combine different unit cell, then we get space lattice. Then what is unit cell? Unit cell is the smallest repeating unit or smallest repeating block of space lattice, so which is called unit cell. So if we combine different unit cell together, then we get space lattice. So unit cell is the smallest repeating unit of space lattice. Now we consider parameters of unit cell. So next we consider parameters of unit cell. So a unit cell has A unit cell is characterized by three edges. So if we write a unit cell, say this one is unit cell. So say this is one side, this is another side, this is another side. So these three sides or three edges A, B and C, and also angle between sides between A and C is beta, B and C is alpha, and A and B is gamma. So alpha, beta and gamma represent angle between edges. So these two are parameters of unit cell. So if this one represents side A, if this one represents side B, and if this one represents side C, then these three are edges of unit cell A, B and C, and say this one alpha, then this one beta and this one gamma. So these three are called angle between edges. So these two are parameters of unit cell. So there are two parameters of unit cell. One, sides of unit cells A, B and C, and also angle between sides, that is alpha, beta and gamma. So these are parameters of unit cell. So here we discussed space lattice, unit cell and also parameter of unit cell. What is space lattice? Space lattice is the regular arrangement. Space lattice is the regular arrangement of constituent particles in three-dimensional structure. So entire this arrangement is called space lattice. And smallest repeating unit is known as unit cell. And if we combine different unit cell together, then we get space lattice. And this one is unit cell. So in case of unit cell, there are two parameters. One, sides of unit cell alpha, beta and gamma. Sides of three unit cells, three edges A, B and C, and also angle between edges, that is alpha, beta and gamma. So these are two parameters. One, edges of unit cell A, B and C, and also angle between. So these two are parameters of unit cells. Now, on the basis of two types, then we consider parameters and types of crystal system. Next we consider types of crystal system. Types of crystal system. So crystal system are basically of two types. One is called primitive unit cells and other is called centered unit cell. Number one is called primitive unit cells and second one is called centered unit cell. So types of crystal system means crystal systems are of two types. One is called primitive unit cells and other is called centered unit cells. So first we consider primitive unit cells. So if any unit cell where atoms, molecules or ions, that is particles, are present only at the corners, then such unit cell is called primitive unit cell. So primitive unit cells are those unit cells where atoms, molecules or ions are present only at the corners. So if atom, molecules or ions, that is particles, are present only at the corners, then such unit cell is called primitive unit cell. Second one is called centered unit cell. So in case of centered unit cell, actually there are unit cell have points at the corners as well as some other position. So in case of primitive unit cell, atoms, molecules or ions are present only at the corners. And in case of centered unit cells, atoms, molecules or ions, that is particles, are present at the corners as well as some other position. So in case of primitive, only corners, centered corners plus some other positions. So if atoms, molecules or ions are present only at the corners, then it is called primitive unit cell. And if atoms, molecules or ions are present corners and also some other position, corner में तो present होगा ही, plus some other position, then it is called centered unit cell. So this is figure for primitive unit cell. Now centered unit cells are further classified into three types. One is called body centered unit cell. One is called face centered unit cell. One, and last one is called end centered unit cell. So centered unit cells are classified into three types. One is called body centered unit cell, one is called face centered unit cell, and last one is called end centered unit cells. So in case of body centered unit cell, so this is our primitive unit cell. It is atom, molecules and ions are present only at the corners. Now in case of body centered unit cell, atoms, molecules and ions are present in corners plus at the center of the unit cell. So this is called body centered. So in primitive, only corner is called primitive. And if corner plus body of the unit cell, one present at the body of the unit cell, then it is called body centered unit cell. So in case of body centered unit cell, atoms, molecules or ions are present corner plus body of the unit cell. Second one is called face centered unit cell. So in case of face-centered unit cell, atoms, molecules or ions are present corner plus center of each faces. So this is center of one face, this is center of one face. Actually in a cubic form there are 8 corners. So only atom, molecules or ions are present at 8 corners, then it is primitive. 8 corners plus 1 center of the unit cell, then it is called body centered. And in case of face centered unit cell, here 8 corners, 8 corners plus 6, center of 6 faces. Center of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces. So this is for face centers. Then last one is called end center. So in case of end center, 8 corner, this is common for all of them. 8 particles are present at 8 corners, 1 at the body center, 6 at the center of 6 faces, and here in case of end center, 8 corner plus center of any two opposite faces. So these two, which is end centered, or these two, this is centered, end centered. If these two, then this is also end centered. So in case of end centered unit cell, atoms, molecules or ions are present at corners and center of any two opposing forces. So types of crystal system are of two types. One is primitive, where atoms, molecules or ions are present only at the corners. Second one is centered unit cell, where atoms, molecules or ions are present corner plus center of some other position. So centered unit cell are of three types. One is called body centered, where atoms, molecules or ions are present at corners and center of unit cell. Second one is face centered. Atoms, molecules or ions are present in corners, 8 corners plus center of 6 faces. And last one is end centered. Atom, molecules or ions are present at 8 corners and also center of two opposing forces. So this is all about types of crystal system. So last two questions for you. So write these two questions, and both are from NCERT books. So write down these two questions. Number 1, classify the following as amorphous or crystalline solids. Naphthalene, Teflon, polyurethane, benzoic acid, potassium nitrate, cellophane, polyvinyl chloride, fiberglass, copper, and last one zinc sulfide. So some of them is amorphous and some of them is crystalline. So identify which one is crystalline and which one is amorphous. Next, second question. Number 2. Classify the following solids as ionic, metallic, molecular, and last one covalent. Silicon carbide, brass, ammonium phosphate, lithium bromide, rubidium, solid carbon dioxide, and last one phosphorus. So first question, write book this question. Classify the following as amorphous or crystalline solids. Number A, naphthalene. Number B, Teflon. Number C, polyurethane. Number B, benzoic acid. Number E, potassium nitrate. Number F, cellophane. Number G, polyvinyl chloride. Number H, fiber, glass. I, copper. And last one, J, zinc sulfate. So classify which one of them is amorphous and which one of them is crystalline. Second question, classify the following solids as ionic, metallic, molecular and covalent. P4O10. Second one, graphite. Third, silicon carbide. Number 4, brass. Number 5, ammonium phosphate. Number 6, lithium bromide. Number 7, 6, lithium bromide. Number 7, rubidium. Number 8, solid carbon dioxide. And number 9, P4. So some of the identify which one is ionic solid, which one is metallic solid, which one is molecular solid, and finally which one is covalent solid. So I will ask question from both of 1 and 2 in my next class. So write both these questions.